forging communities amidst adversity. The emergence of American Chinatowns in the 19th century was intricately connected to the prevailing racism and discrimination experienced by Chinese immigrants during that time. The story of Chinatowns in the United States is one of resilience, community building, and adaptation in the face of systemic racism. Chinese immigrants began arriving in the United States in significant numbers during the mid-1800s, mainly seeking economic opportunities during the California Gold Rush and the construction of the Transcontinental Railroad. However, they faced intense racism and discrimination from the moment they arrived. The Chinese were viewed as a threat to white laborers who feared job competition and resented their presence. As anti-Chinese sentiment grew, discriminatory laws and policies were enacted to restrict Chinese immigration and limit their opportunities. The most notable of these was the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, which suspended Chinese immigration for 10 years and prohibited Chinese immigrants already in the United States from becoming naturalized citizens. How Chinese immigrants formed thriving communities amid hostility. Amid these hostile conditions, Chinese immigrants found solace and support in forming their own communities. Initially, Chinese settlements were scattered throughout different urban areas. However, over time, these communities concentrated and Chinatowns began to emerge as distinct ethnic enclaves. Chinatowns provided a sense of security and community for Chinese immigrants. They offered familiar cultural institutions, such as temples, associations, and social clubs, where immigrants could maintain their traditions, language, and customs. These enclaves also provided essential services and businesses catering to the Chinese community, such as markets, laundries, restaurants, and herbal medicine shops. The physical formation of Chinatowns was often a result of economic necessity. Chinese immigrants faced discrimination in employment, and many were forced into low-paying jobs such as laundry work, restaurant work, and manual labor. Consequently, the Chinese concentrated in urban areas where these types of jobs were available, leading to the establishment of Chinatowns in cities like San Francisco, New York, and Los Angeles. How did Chinese immigrants overcome discrimination and contribute to the development of the American West? However, the creation of Chinatowns did not shield Chinese immigrants from racism and discrimination. They continued to face hostility and violence from the larger society. Chinatowns were often subject to raids, riots, and discriminatory laws. The Chinese Exclusion Act and subsequent legislation reinforced their isolation and prevented family reunification for many Chinese immigrants. Despite these challenges, Chinatowns endured and evolved into vibrant cultural and commercial centers. They became strongholds of Chinese identity and played a crucial role in preserving Chinese heritage in the United States. Over time, Chinatowns became tourist attractions and sites of cultural exchange, drawing visitors from both within and outside the Chinese community. In recent years, there have been changes in the demographics and dynamics of Chinatowns. Immigration patterns from China have shifted, and subsequent generations of Chinese Americans have moved to other areas outside traditional Chinatowns. Gentrification and rising property values have also posed challenges to the existing communities. Nonetheless, Chinatowns remain significant cultural and historical landmarks, representing the struggles and achievements of Chinese immigrants in the face of racism and discrimination in 19th-century America. The emergence of Chinatowns in the United States during the 19th century stands as a testament to the perseverance and resilience of Chinese immigrants in the face of widespread racism and discrimination. As Chinese individuals sought economic opportunities in America, they encountered hostility and prejudice from the moment they arrived on American soil. However, driven by the pursuit of a better life, they found solace in forming their own communities, which eventually grew into vibrant Chinatowns. The prevailing racism and discrimination against Chinese immigrants during this era were deeply rooted in fear and xenophobia. The influx of Chinese laborers during the California Gold Rush and the construction of the Transcontinental Railroad fueled anxieties among white laborers, who viewed the Chinese as competitors and resented their presence. Anti-Chinese sentiment grew rapidly, leading to the enactment of discriminatory laws and policies aimed at restricting Chinese immigration and curtailing their opportunities. Despite the hostile conditions they faced, Chinese immigrants demonstrated remarkable resilience and determination. Initially scattered throughout different urban areas, they gradually concentrated in specific neighborhoods, forming distinct ethnic enclaves that would become known as Chinatowns. These communities provided much-needed support, security, and a sense of belonging for Chinese immigrants in an otherwise unwelcoming society. Chinatowns became the bedrock of Chinese culture and identity in the United States. They offered familiar cultural institutions, such as temples, associations, and social clubs, where immigrants could maintain their traditions, language, and customs. These enclaves also served practical purposes, housing essential services and businesses catering to the Chinese community, including markets, laundries, restaurants, and herbal medicine shops. The establishment of Chinatowns was not only a cultural response but also an economic one. Chinese immigrants faced discrimination in employment, often being relegated to low-paying jobs such as laundry work, restaurant work, and manual labor. Concentrating in urban areas where these types of jobs were available allowed them to carve out a niche for themselves and create economic opportunities within their own communities. This article delves into the fascinating history of